Hello, this is Nuke Marine, and welcome to Let's Read Japanese, a course series for the reading of Japanese text alongside its audio counterpart. Alright, so the way this works, as always, is off to the side is going to be the text I'll be reading. Usually these are subtitle rips from TV shows, but they could also be digital books. And then up above will be the audio I'll be reading along to. Again, this will probably be the show from which the subtitles came from, or it could also be the audiobook version of the book that I'm reading. Alright, so I'm reading along to the the audio, which means I'm hearing native pronunciation to the text as I read, which I think is a component that a lot of people miss out on when they just do immersive reading. And the downside would be if you only did that is you might be mispronouncing it correctly in your head, whereas this way you do hear not only how it's pronounced, but also just the general way in which conversation occurs. All right. In addition to, you also can hear how a word that's normally not spoken, how it is pronounced, especially in the form of audiobooks. Now, on top of that, I'm reading along, and if I come across a word I don't know, I'll pause real quick and look up the meaning of the word. Very common for people who read, less common for people who are listening to something, watching something. So in this case, because it is a let's read, and it's not uncommon to look up words, there is a benefit in that I increase the comprehension of the material I'm reading overall. And yeah, that's about as simple as I can put it there. Sometimes the definitions are in Japanese, with the Japanese, or say English translation. Generally what most people utilize when they're doing something like this. Cool. All right, so that's about it. With that said, if you end up enjoying this video, remember to give it a like or a thumbs up. If you enjoy the series overall, you'd like to see more of it, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'll be making a lot more like this. Probably a lot of it's coming from Netflix in the near future, because of some of the conveniences that streaming service is offering for this type of format. Beyond that, if you enjoy this is all part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. So if you enjoy that project and what I'm doing with it, and you'd like to support it, you can do that by becoming a patron. The links to that Patreon are given down below in the description. In addition to links to the Let's Learn Japanese website that was put together by Talking Dave, and the Let's Learn Japanese community Discord. On top of that, if you'd like to hire me or commission an hour of my time for either discussion, tutoring, technical assistance, whatever, then yeah, there's a link directly to the Patreon that's specifically for that, and the rates are given on that page. All right, so with that out of the way, this is Let's Read Japanese, GTO episode 7. You notice the image changed. This is a low-res image, by the way. Again, I just rip it off the internet somewhere, and then I just go to meme generator to add on the text. I don't put a lot of thought behind these. I'm super lazy. But I did decide, like, I'll try to change the image every 10 to 12 episodes of something, especially for something that's going for like 26 episodes. Just give it a slightly different flair and let it distinguish, because again, when you're going on my YouTube page and look at all the videos, you just see it just this wall of images. And so this helps keep it from being too monotonous, if that means anything, for if anybody ever watches this on the archives at least, which I don't know if they do. All right, so with that out of the way, but anyway, that's this show, GTO. We're getting into, again, trigger warning, we're getting into darker areas. We already entered dark areas in the previous episodes, but it's still going to be in some dark areas, into the aspects of society probably you don't normally see on Japanese television, you know, at least not in the way they treat it. It feels a little, it feels like this show treats it a bit more seriously than I've seen other dramas treated. Not to get into a critique or anything. I don't, again, I haven't watched enough Japanese dramas in order to really maybe offer an informed critique. Most I can say is, if there's a drama I like, I'll watch it. If it doesn't click with me, I just won't watch it. There's too many good dramas out there to force yourself to sit through the bad ones, and there's no benefit to it. With a good drama, you always want to go on to the next episode, and that's going to be really important when it comes to immersion. You don't want to fight immersion. You want it to just go with it, and it just is enjoyable, so that you want to continue it. If it's a fight, then you're going to think of any reason to not do it, and that's going to be very detrimental to becoming better at Japanese, which again, this all essentially revolves around getting better in Japanese. And part of the way to get better in Japanese is to immerse in Japanese media. You immerse in Japanese media that's more enjoyable. because you want to do it more and more. That's, again, that's just kind of how this loops all around back on it, in on itself. What else? I think that's about it. Yeah, because if you do this right, this type of show here, the next step, like I would do, is like eventually I'll be adding the entire script into Anki, sentence by line, sentence by sentence, and then I run Morph Man. It looks for sentences that have words that I don't know. Those are called I+1 sentences, and they'll show me that. So I'll pick, hey, I want to learn this word, and I'll go through and look for a sentence that I also like. That's like, oh, I can get more out of it than just the word itself. That makes the show more comprehensible. Even if the sentence came from a previous drama I'd already added to Anki, but the word, because of this drama and all the new words it added to the Morph Man analysis, it puts vocabulary words up higher that are, since this is the most frequent word that I still need to learn, so it's going to show that to me first. So I get to learn more of the drama. And again, I'm not trying to talk too much about learning Japanese, because it is Let's Read Japanese, but again, it's the importance that these shows bring to the table. That not only can you watch it for fun, you can then use these scripts and the audio in order to turn it into learning material. And then even after that, you can then go back and do a reread. And there's some structured ways you can, for analysis, you can then approach, like, what should you reread first? You know, and it could be, hey, what about a drama that, like right now I'm watching, it's at 90% comprehension. What if I learned enough vocabulary in the next few months where now I look back on it, now it's above 95% comprehension? Or instead of 1 out of every 10 words I don't know, making it kind of difficult to follow along if I don't look up stuff, where now it's 1 out of every 20 words I don't know, which means, you know, again, it's like every maybe minute or so there might be a word. Well, I don't know if a minute is, but anyway, maybe about every 30 seconds to a minute I might find a word I don't know. You know, that's a bigger benefit. That's a bigger boost. More enjoyable. And then later on, what if it gets above 98%? Okay, well, maybe I want to do another reread and see what the experience is like when it's at such a high level of comprehension. Like, I know so much of the vocabulary in it, and I comprehend. I've heard it so often. I can hear the character's voice in my head. When I read the lines, their voices are speaking to me from inside the head, not in a crazy way. So yeah, there's some benefits to this. So I'm not saying like read, don't do, you know, there's the Dogen aspect where he sat down and rewatched something, I think, like on purpose 20 times, or I forgot how many more. You could do it that way. It's not my cup of tea, but if it happens naturally through what I call the background immersion, where you basically create like a 30-hour to a 60-hour audio loop from all these shows and have it playing in background, and then when you pay attention to it, you know, it's like audio stacking. It's like, oh, it's over there. Oh, I'm paying attention to it. Now it becomes it's like, now it's, you know, it's not background anymore. It becomes passive immersion. You're just paying attention to it, and you understand, because you studied it, you understand it so well. You know, your brain picks up on it. It notices the conversation, follows along. You know, that's the importance of using this stuff for your Japanese learning. All right, I'm taking this intro way too long. I apologize. This is the second half, so it's technically the intro to another version of videos, another a series of 12 videos. But anyway, something to think about. That's it. Let's get into the show. All right, so this is episode 7, second half of the series. 6 more episodes and 2 videos per episode. So next 12 videos I'll be done. We'll be moving on into Netflix show Shinya Shokudo, Midnight Cafe, and Kino Nani o Tabeta, what did you eat yesterday? And I'm thinking of some other dramas that are on Netflix, kind of, because since Shinya Shokudo is 3 seasons of 10 episodes, I'm going to do 10 episodes and do something, then do another season, then do a show, and then another season show. I'm trying to think about which ones I'm going to do, but I've got some ideas, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm saying it's fun, and but the benefit also is that it's super easy to do it with Netflix. Netflix makes it all easy. I don't have to worry about trying to find the videos. They're already there. Subtitles are already there. If I want to do the audio rips, we got programs that can do that. It's like, man, Netflix is amazing. Amazon is just a pain in the ass to use. So if I had to choose a streaming service, it's Netflix. Just that for, unfortunately, Amazon's got most of the content. Sucks, but oh well, that's the nature of things. Anyway, let's get started. Is anybody even watching this right now? We got 2 people watching. Hey guys. Okay, let's get started. All right, episode 7. Let's put on the earphones and let's go. It is muggy here in Japan. It's summertime in the show, and it's summertime here. And the cicadas are noisy as hell outside, and then you also hear it on the show. It's like, oh man, a little too immersive. Okay, Nakamaru Koji.
皆さん、夏休みなのにご苦労様です。定例の職員会議を始めたいんですが、
定例決まった習わし。So it's been decided, a decision, established precedents. Okay. Okay.
ちょっと今定例の職員会議を始めたいんですが、ちょっと今内山田先生は緊急の電話が入りまして。
どうかしたんですか？
相沢みやびの母親ですよ、PTA 会長の。
かなり言われてるみたいですね。
そうですよ。何があったか知らないけど、小谷先生は花嫁修行コースを突然やめると言い出し、
花嫁修行。
小谷先生は花嫁修行コースを突然やめると言い出し、あんなに部活に熱心だった袴田先生は部活をほっぽらかし。
途中で、投げ出す hit somebody? Neglect, abandon.投げる。Never. Let's say 投げ出す。Okay, gotcha. And again, I'll mention this. I'm bad about not doing it, but if you're like reading this tochu de nagedasu, so tarakasu, which I guess that would have made more sense, but about the abandonment. But then nagedasu in this one, since don't make it recursive. So this one, because you don't know that, we're just quickly look it up real quick. It's like, okay, stretch one up, abandon, give up. Okay, like in the middle of it, abandon right in the middle of things. Oparakasu, neglect in the middle of things. Okay.
あんなに部活に熱心だった袴田先生は部活をほっぽらかし、勅使河原先生に至っては特進クラスの授業中暴れ出します。もちろん論外も一人おりますが。
Currently, 現在業 the current subject 論外。Not worthy of discussion. Not relevant to the topic. Okay. 論外も。
もちろん論外も一人おりますが。それから勅使河原先生の代わりに始めた教頭の授業の評判が最悪で、私はね、やめとけって言ったんですよ。現場からさ、随分離れてるわけだし。どうでしたっけ？ PTA 会長はなんと。
とりあえず会議を続けてください。
それでは来年度の受験用に新たなテキストを購入し、2月。
So the next semester or next year, for test. Okay.
来年度の受験用に新たなテキストを購入し、2学期から使用する予定なんですが、現在お配りしたリストの中から私が慎重に選んでおりまして。
中村先生にお任せしますよ。皆さん異論はないでしょうし。
わかりました。
異論？別のwith no objections。異論はない。
わかりました。
皆さん異論はないでしょうし。
わかりました。じゃあ責任を持って私が決めさせていただきます。
なん
ですか？
みんなで使うものですから、
もうちょっと話し合った方が。それでは皆さん、他に報告することもございませんので、今日はそういうことでどうもお疲れ様でした。
珍しい。Yeah. And by the way, that is a problem where you have like administrators choosing a curriculum books without input from the teachers. And this obviously this episode is going to be covering that, about how that could be, part of the corruption.
PTA 会長はこれ以上何かあったら私の責任問題にするって言うんですよ。このままでは校長の椅子も。
Let me fix this real quick. Okay, I see the problem. You're right here. Okay.
このまま私の責任問題にするって言うんですよ。このままでは校長の椅子も。
Let me see something real quick.
私の責任問題にするって言うんですよ。このままでは校長の椅子も。それもこれも全て鬼塚のせいなんだ。あいつがいなかったらこんなことには。
夏休みが終わるまでの辛抱ですよ、教頭。
辛抱。耐え忍ぶこと。耐え忍ぶ。It's like resisting something, right? Secretly resist. Kurushisa, kanoshisa. Okay, so this withstand it. Okay. Endure. Quietly. Gaman. Yeah. GTO. Yeah. Quietly resolve. Quiet resolve. Patience, forbearance. Okay, cool. Kobo. Shimbo.
2学期夏休みが終わるまでの辛抱ですよ、教頭。2学期までに2年4組が授業のボイコットをやめない限り鬼塚はクビになるんですか。
そうでしたね。
もうすぐ疫病神はいなくなります。
疫病。A god that can cure diseases. Yoku saseru. Someone's pestilence. Yogami. Bring her bad luck. Okay. Yogami.
もうすぐ疫病神はいなくなります。
そうですな。
ああ、夏休みもあと2週間で終わりか。何焦ってんだよ。あ、わかった。おめえのクラスの子だろ。なんかまた揉めてんだって。
そんなんじゃねえよ。夏はほら恋の季節だってのに、このままじゃ今年も何もなしで終わっちゃいそうで。
要する
このままじゃ今年も何もなしで終わっちゃいそうで。
要するにやりたいわけね。
え、何言ってんですか。俺が言ってんのはほらロマンスっていうか美しい夏の思い出っていうか、
まあお前もいい年なんだし、初体験ぐらい済ました方がいいんじゃねえか。
First test. First physical 体験. First experience. Okay.
初体験ぐらい済ました方がいいんじゃねえか。あ、お前もいい年なんだし、初体験ぐらい済ました方がいいんじゃねえか。
自分がほらちょっといい思いしたからってすぐほら俺課長怒りやがってやったね。
いや最高だね、テレクラって。あんな可愛いお姉ちゃんに出会えたと思ったらその日のうちにホテルに速攻よ。しかも塾よ、塾。初めてだったんじゃねえかな、向こうは。お前にも少し分けてやりたいよ、この感動と興奮を。
俺はいやお前ちょっとよく聞いてるのか。最初はまあこうと決めた女としかしないって決めてんだよ。
派遣すれば。あ、悪いけど今日も俺デートだから。若い子はいいぞ、肌はプチプチだし。あ、派遣すれば。あ、悪いけど今日も俺デートだから。若い子はいいぞ、肌はプチプチだし。
ピチピチだし。I mean, No, 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 no. Fresh. New and fresh. Young and lively. Okay. Pichi pichi.
激しいし若い子はいいぞ肌はピチピチだし激しいしまあ君みたいな童貞君には分からないだろうけど
ああもう帰って帰れ
まあ最悪の場合女子高生と遠行でもすんだな
Oh, there we go. Enco. That's the subject of the story. Yeah, school girl prostitution. There we go. Prostitution. Basically, that's where you got to put it down to. I thought there'd be a Japanese definition for that. So I guess right now they're treating it as slang. Enco.
やら体いくつあっても足んねえなよしそうも全然食ってねえじゃん
Oh yeah, first sexual experience. Okay, show taiken. Okay.
ただいま。もしもし冬月ですけども。
あ鬼塚です。
どうしたんですか？
いや今日ほら暇かなと思いまして。
なんでですか？
ほら一緒に飯でもというかほら俺の感激がまだしてないわけだし。
どうしよっかな。
お願いします。
しょうがないなもう。歓迎会まだやってなかったし2学期にはクビになるかもしれないしねあなたの場合。いいケツしてるよな。
There's a song I sing in karaoke called by KDZ Kin Bando, Tiger and Dragon. But in the video, but the official video, at the end it's the lead singer and it is like a lady in a bikini, just basically dancing and hugging him all throughout the video. But it ends in with a shot of her ass. So I always like the end of the karaoke. Ii ketsu shiteru ne. Yeah, so ii ketsu shiteru yo na. Also, if you want to do it as a stupid joke, what you can do to get a laugh out is like look at a lady's shoes. And, oh, kirei ketsu. Can you say like, but point to shoes? So they're thinking kutsu, but they heard ketsu like, oh, it's a very beautiful ass. And so but then they think, oh, you meant shoes, so they'll say kutsu, and it's like, okay, it's a stupid joke, but yeah, it does get a laugh.
何やってんのか。
いやほらああいう格好で歩いてる子見たらついうちの生徒じゃないか気になったりして。夏の解放感から不純正行為に走ってないか心配になったりして。
解放感。不純異性こういう。Okay, so let's see. 不純 purity. Okay, so 不純異性女性また。Okay, so relationships. Okay, so 不純異性 is the relationship, so a pure relationship, and what was the other last one? こういう。Okay, so companionship, fraternization, basically. Yeah, there we go, fraternization. こういう。不純異性こういう。Alright, so there we go. 不純異性こういう。不純異性こういう。
夏のついうちの生徒じゃないか気になったりして。 夏の解放感から不純正行為に走ってないか心配になったりして。
調子いいこと言っても思いっきり鼻の下伸びてますよ。
See, that's a full phrase. Your nose in the mouth? I don't get it. There's something below your nose. Think about what's this below your nose?
調子いいこと言っても思いっきり鼻の下伸びてますよ。
そんなことないですよ。
そんないい加減なことでクラスの問題解決できると思ってんですか？
大丈夫ですよ。
どうだか。この前だって村井君がせっかく秘密打ち明けようとしてんのに、言いたくなったら言いますよとか言ってカッコつけちゃってさ。
ほら、そういうのって無理に聞いてもダメなんですって。
そうかもしれないけど、村井君によると相沢雅が大人を信用しなくなったのは村井君の親友が亡くなってからなんでしょ。だったらそれから調べるのが先決なんじゃないですか。
Sin kids. You determine. Okay, sin kids.
だったらそれから調べるのが先決なんじゃないですか。
なるほど。他に何か知りません？
私に聞いてどうするんですか。
だって今調べる。
私が知ってるのは2年前に村井君の親友は自主退学したってことと、その
self withdrawal, right? Yeah. Leaving out. 自主退学。
その後彼が2年前に村井君の親友は自主退学したってことと、その後彼がバイク事故で亡くなったっていうことぐらいで、それからは学校でそのことに触れるにはタブーになってるみたいだし。
なるほど。じゃあこうしましょう。これから静かな公園でも行って、ほら、じっくりそのことについて検討しましょう。
はい。
New experience? Your investigation. God damn it. I'm an idiot.
はい。
それと、
はい。
ほら、じっくりそのことについて検討しましょう。
はい。
それともホテルのラウンジなんかいいか。でも朝までかかるかもしれないし、部屋も取った方がいいな。
あなたって人は人が真面目に話してれば。
ちょっと待って。冬月先生、飯でもどうですか？
信じらんない。度胸試しして負けたから。話そうとしたわけ、あいつのこと。度胸試しして負けたから。話そうとしたわけ、あいつのこと。
ほら、早く逃げろ。
なあ、もしかして鬼塚なら信用できるんじゃないか。
何言ってんの。あんたたけしがなんで死んだかもう忘れたの。担任に裏切られたせいなんだよ。私は一生。
So there's Takeshi, which again they mentioned the anniversary of his death on last episode, so building up to the clues.
忘れない。あいつが死んだこともあいつのことも死ぬまで絶対忘れない。鬼塚なんかに騙されてんじゃないわよ。
ちょっと待ってください、冬月先生。よう村井、母ちゃん元気か？ほら、よろしく言っといてくれ。
I'm gonna try to skip a lot more if there's pauses, but because I'm already at 30 minutes, so we're just like at the 9-minute mark. So we got another 14 minutes left, and we just skipped over a minute and a half. So I do know though I started like 10 minutes into the video, so there's that too. Still, should be going faster.
もしかして鬼塚が信用できるんじゃねえかな。
ああ、金でも降ってこないかな。バイトなんかかったるくてやってらんないしね。どうせならさ、金持ちにもらいたかったよね。私の親父なんかただのサラリーマンだから、この間のボーナス超少ない。うちだってそうだよ。いいよね、みやびのうちはリッチで。ねえ、どうしたのさっきからぼーっとしちゃって。そうだよ、なんか心配なことでもあるわけ？別に。なんか鬼塚辞めさせる方法ないかなと思ってさ。ほっときゃいいじゃん。どうせ2学期になるクビになんだし。そうだよ、私たちが授業出なければいいんでしょ。そんな。
I like to know is why do the kids even know this? Like that I know because that was the principal's stance or the administrator's stance. You don't tell, but again, that guy's an asshole, so he probably tells to the teachers, and teachers leaked it to the students. So yeah.
苦笑だよね。あんたたちは何も分かってないからそんなこと言えんのよ。
Sure. Easy win, right? Yeah, easy victory.
何やってんだお前ら、こんな時間に。
塾の帰りです、ね、そうです。
大体なんだその格好は。帰りかなんか知らんが下着みたいなもん着て。聖林学園の生徒としての誇りを持たんか、誇りを。まさかお前ら援助交際なんかしてないだろうな。
Jesus, you just don't fucking ask that. I know it's a drama, but I'm wondering, like, is part of this like really true? Like, do you have teachers that really bother students outside of class time? I mean, I think really they should just shut the hell up, outside of school. That's again parents' domain after that. Although I guess the problem was they were demanding teachers still take responsibility for kids even outside of school time. I think there was that mindset that should happen. From my understanding, I again could be wrong. Was never in high school. I don't have kids that were in high school in Japan. And I don't really follow. Like I said, I'm just the equivalent of like a juku or a cram school teacher, or it's just, hey, 1 hour a week. That's the most you ever spend with a student. So and I know it sounds selfish to say I don't care. It's not that I don't. It's like it's best not to care. Other than your concern is to make sure the next class they stand is done as good as it can be. That's and to give them what is to help them succeed in the time between the classes. But again, yeah, you got to be very careful about taking on problems you can't solve.
一体そんなわけないじゃないですか。
だったらなんでまさかお前ら援助交際なんかしてないだろうな。
一体そんなわけないじゃないですか。
だったらなんでこんなところでフラフラするんだ。
By the way, again, I mean, you can't forget that this guy's a creep who had no problem basically having an illicit affair with a student. Yeah, it was a joke meant for Onizuka, but he thought it was real. So again, he was tested and failed. So we already know you already knew he was a creep from the first episode, but he's even worse of a creep. He shouldn't even be near students type of creep. And this is making it even worse. Like,
何疑うんならうちのママに電話してもらってもいいですけど。
とにかく夏休みだからと遊んでる場合じゃないだろう。大学受験になってあっという間だぞ。
だよ中丸のやつ偉そうに。
いつもより態度でかくない？
あ、ねえちょっと待って、ねえ、何あれ仲間のやつにペコペコしちゃって。
ペコペコしたって。
あの親父。
何あれ仲間のやつにペコペコしちゃって。
あの親父超ダサくない？
私あんなのが嫌だったら死にたくなるな。
どうしたの？
It is his parent.
あれ、うちの親父なの。そう。なんで中丸なんかと。教材とかテキストの営業やってるから。
近く。
近く。
乾杯。
3月まで女子高生だった。
そうです。
まずいな。うちの生徒とほとんど変わらないじゃない。
先生、たまにはいいでしょ、こういうところも。奥さんと別れてもう5年でしたっけ。お子さんの養育費とかいろいろ大変でしょうに。
そうなのよ。こんなところ来る余裕なんか全然ないし
ねえ。だったら今日はもうパーッとやっていきましょうよね。あれそこ
Well, let me hear that.
パーッ。お子さんの養育費とかいろいろ大変でしょうに。
そうなのよ。こんなところ来る余裕なんか全然ないし
ねえ。だったら今日はもうパーッとやっていきましょうよね。あれそこちょっと離れちゃまずいんじゃないのもう。
Yeah, I've never got the point of the hostess bars like this, or hostess, yeah, hostess bars like this. Just you pay about like it could be like 3,000 yen an hour, about the equivalent of $30 an hour, $60 an hour. For sitting there, you basically get all the drink. It's all you can drink, but it's like the cheap gin, or I think maybe beer. I'm not sure. They might charge you for the beer, and you can go there, sing karaoke, or sit down. The ladies working there. So you either pick out or you just get the random line. If you pick one out, I think you pay extra if you pick one that's free. And for that hour, they basically treat you like the best person in the world. Pour you drinks, say everything you do is smart and funny, laugh at every stupid joke you have, and clap at every crappy karaoke song you belt out. Yeah, so it's that. It's like per hour. And they don't kind of tell you when the hour's up, like, so you might get extended, so you gotta be careful about that. Creepier ones will actually charge you even more. Like they'll have a menu of stuff that, if it's a scam, they'll actually charge really higher price on it. So you gotta be careful. I guess salarymen gotta be careful about that as well, because they'll get in there and drink. And then also there's host and hostesses. Like the host clubs are for also like the ladies who have money who are able to spend, basically treated the same way but by guys. So be treated like a queen whereas he gets treated like a king for an hour. She gets treated like a queen for an hour, and then however many hours you want to extend it. I just don't get it. It didn't ring with me. I don't know. I just couldn't. I just go to a regular bar where if you're an interesting person, people want to talk to you anyway, men and women. So there's that, and better conversations. It's I don't know. It's just I've gone to it a couple times. It just was not my thing. Plus, I would just mainly concentrate on singing karaoke anyway, which, I don't need to go to a host bar to sing karaoke. There are plenty of karaoke places, especially in Yokosuka. Okay, anyway, enough of that. But yeah, a lot of underhanded business goes down in host bars like this where, because it's after business, the drinks are involved, and you can be a bit more private. Since it's more private, not as many people are listening, you can then go into talk about, the shit that's about to be discussed here. And also, it's just kind of leads into the girl that you can rent for the hour for drinks. Then you can probably rent by the hour or night for sex, which I think also shows up in the story here.
改まってなんですけれども、中丸先生、改まってなんですけれども、どうかうちのテキストを一つよろしくお願いします。
分かってますよ。
なんなら内容の方ですね、もっと詳しく説明させていただければ。
いいじゃないですか課長、そんな固い話は。それより先生、聞きましたよ。おめでとうございます。
おいおい、なんだよそれ。
決まったらしいじゃないですか、もうすぐ教頭に行って。
どこで聞いたんだよ。まだ内定だよ、内定。
内定。公表されては。Oh, so it's been not public yet, not formally announced. There we go. Unofficial, informal. Okay.
決まっ
どこで聞いたんだよ。まだ内定だよ、内定。
決まったも同然でしょう。だってあんなに中村先生は学校に貢献なさってるわけだし。
貢献な。
だってあんなに中村先生は学校に貢献なさってるわけだし。
わかる。
中丸教頭の手でうちのテキストをぜひセリン学園に。
There we go.
どうしようかな。今夜の盛り上がり次第かな。
お任せください。もう今日はビシビシっと仕切っちゃいますよ。もう
ビシビシと。Let's see. Slowly coming. Okay.
もうお任せください。もう今日はビシビシっと仕切っちゃいますよ。もう
この子今晩 OK ですか？
いやまずいって、俺は教師だから。
大丈夫ですよ。この子口堅いから。
Yeah, that's how creepy it gets. By the way, most host clubs like that, hostess clubs, sorry, you're probably not going to be allowed in as a foreigner. Like those they'll say like, oh, Japanese only, or they'll say it in English, even if you talk to them in Japanese. Yeah, they'll just shut down. It's like not even, so even if you're in a suit or anything. There's that. Plus, I'll be honest. I mean, if you don't know how to get in that one, and don't fight it anyway. There's plenty of places to go. But most likely, if you do go to one like that, it's probably because you're going with a friend who will, basically is your escort into there. If you want to see, and again, it's just a waste of money. You're just paying $30 for maybe 10 or 20 bucks worth of beer, whiskey, or drinks and whatnot. So you're overpaying for that. And again, the women that are there don't look at you as a person. They look at you as a wallet with money inside that they need to. And again, it's no shame on them. Again, that's what their job is supposed to be. So I mean, it's fair it's fair exchange of services as far as I'm concerned. But it's just you got to be honest to be yourself about what it's there for.
そうだ、今日中丸先生が職員会議で言ってたんですけど、2学期から新しいテキスト購入するらしいんですよ。でも本当に必要なのかな。今までので十分だと思うんだけどな。
やめませんか、そういう話。
い
やほら、せっかく二人きりになったんだし、それにほら今日は俺の歓迎会でしょ。
じゃあどんな話します？
だからほら愛についてとか。
どうせまたホテルに行こうって言うんでしょ。
どうしてそれがいけないんですか？
あ、開き直った。
開き直った。Reopened up? 急に態度が。Oh, you changed. Okay. Something becomes serious. Okay. 開き直る。Come to find a turn. Okay. Actually, I've heard that word before.
あ、開き直った。
前にも言いましたけど、最初は一生こいつしか愛さないと女とするって決めたからって。
だから何が言いたいんですか？
だから俺は俺は
Yeah, you notice in the background someone's on the stairs.
英吉
There she is. よしこ。
何やってんだよこんなとこで。もう冷たいじゃない。全然電話もくれないし。
あ、そうだっけ。
こちらどなた？
なんでもないっていうか別に。
あなたこそどういうご関係ですか？私の英吉と。
ほら、そういう誤解を招く言い方は。
ご心配なく。ただの同僚ですから。それに私今帰るところだし。
あ、ちょっと冬月先生。
じゃあね、英吉。
英吉。いい。
なんかもうムカつくな。もう。
Where are we at? Oh.
親父のダサいとこ見たくないよね。ねえ、なんか面白いことない？みやび。クラブでも行く？あ、でもやっぱりお金ないわ私。
私も。
遠行でもやろっか。
え？
だってあんたたちお金欲しいでしょ。
だったらそれが一番手っ取り早いじゃない。大人はバカだからさ、パンツ見せりゃ金出すわよ。ちょっと。
I like how, but they set up it was that creepy ass principal, or not principal, a head teacher that got the idea in her head to do that. If he had just not been a creep or an asshole, then. So again, that's just a good. They set up the writing like, hey, this shitty type of mentor you know, basically put a bad idea in her head and she's going with it.
マジでみやび、やばいって。バカね。もらうもんもらったら逃げんのよ。
Get the money and run.
私、17歳、現役女子高生。お金。
現役女性。Let's see. 現役女性。誰だっけ。Okay, student currently doing high school studies. Okay. Oh, Ronin. Oh, like that says Ronin. So Ronin. Okay. Active skill. Okay. Geneki. Okay. Geneki.
お金持ちの私、17歳、現役女子高生。お金持ちの素敵なおじさまからの優しいメッセージ待ってます。
Kind of creepy. I like it. Again, the changing her face is like really good. I like it.
もうちょっとだったのに。
はい、ブツブツ言ってんだよ。はい。
本当にご両親帰ってこないの？
You think they would have had photos of themselves up around the house, and he would have noticed that.
壊れたベンツが戻ってきたから、二人で。
Oh, wait, wait. Oh.
温泉行ってるから。
壊れたってなんて？
なんかね、学校に置いといたら誰かにめちゃくちゃされたらしくって。
世の中には悪いやつがいるんだな。
キスして。
え？
あ、やだ。
待って待って待って。
ただいま。
やだ、帰ってきた。
嘘。
そう。
よしこ帰ってんの？
お、やばいやばい。
やべえべ。
いいじゃない、別に悪いことしてるわけじゃないんだし。あ、
どうせだからパパとママに紹介する。
バカ野郎、遠慮しとけば。
なんでよ。
誰だ。おい。
何よ。
今の男誰なんだよ。え？
何のこと？
とぼけても無駄だ。今逃げてったじゃないか。お前。
I'm hearing Toboke a lot in this, like, you know, to act like, pretend like you don't know anything. Toboke te mo.
お前、とぼけても無駄だ。今逃げてったじゃないか。お前、俺の留守中に男を連れ込んでるのか。
こっちこそなんで帰ってきたのよ。
それはさ、旅館が最悪なのよ。お食事はまずいし、お風呂は汚いし、パパ一体何見てたんだろう。
いや、だからそれは教育委員会の紹介で。
Yeah. If you find a good onsen, keep with it. Don't be willing to turn down a one that gives you a bad vibe, you know, because you need to make sure you go to an onsen that's like well kept. Because again, you know, you don't want to catch something from, you know, like if mold is growing there, or you know, it's the food's bad, then obviously you're gonna get illness from it. So that makes sense. Like he's the one who picked it out, so yeah.
なんかどうやっていい？それは教育委員会の紹介で。
Okay, there you go. It's just like sucking up to someone from PTA.
なんかどうやっていいんだよ。今逃げていた誰だ。まさか英吉とか言ってるやつじゃ。
あら、紹介してくれりゃよかったのに。
私もそう言ったんだけどね。
パパは絶対にあんたをそんなやつとは。
別にいいわよ、パパなんか関係ないから。
おいちょっともしかお前その男の名字分かったか。
Miyagi, not Myoji. Myoji, but he sounds like he's saying Miyagi. Maybe I'm hearing it differently.
おいちょっともしかその男の名字分かったか。
He is saying like Miyagi.
この間聞いたんだけどね。
なんで大事なことを早く言わないんだよ。で、なんて言うんだ。
忘れちゃった。
なんでそんな大事なことをすぐ忘れるんだお前は。
うるさいな。そんなに知りたかったら自分で調べればいいじゃない。もう疲れた。よいしょ。お風呂でも入ってこようっと。
ねえ早くおいでよ。
今行きます。
Wait it? Oh. Alright. So I'm just gonna say she stole the money, snuck out of there, so it's pretty quick. Very common to take at a love hotel like that. So it's usually I think it's like you see the rates, it's like 3 hours or one rate, then they do one for all night. So that's when I'm seeing it's like, so the minimum rent is 3 hours. They usually set up, so if you watch the video by Chris Abroad in Japan, he mentions that, like, it's kind of set where you can get into the place without having to deal with, you don't even look at someone. Like, they basically hand it underneath the window or whatnot, so you don't have to feel like you're, being looked at by a person, even though there are cameras. You're given a key to the place, and it's usually set to where you can enter it once, like, so you can't, like, come back in and out. So you get to enter it, but once you leave, you don't be able to get back in. A lot of the places are set up like that. Although if you have a key, then that's a different story. But it's still going to be for the set time. Like I said, like in the room is like basically a small vending machine for instead of a refrigerator, so you can buy the drinks there. I think they got a set where they stopped letting men go to places alone, so they have to be as a couple. Mainly because again, they don't want it for someone just kills himself that way. Also, I think they got to leave as a couple. I think they kind of set that up as well, or at least the woman has to leave first. I think they got to set up that way. Again, it's just a safety measure. So if something like that happens, then I guess they'll definitely go and then check otherwise. What else? Yeah. So I don't know if something like that would have been allowed. Like the phone would have rang soon if something like that happened. If they noticed that, I think though if they will check an ID. I think you would assume they would check an ID to make sure like this shit's not happening. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they would check IDs, just to verify the ages. By the way, a lot of the love hotels, I guess, was supposed to be official. So some of them are like, there could be illegal ones. Like, I guess there was a set number and they never approved any more. So any of the love hotels, like, technically are old, but they kind of get refurbished and whatnot, but they're still the original love hotels. And then any new ones that might pop up actually are illegal, so they can get shut down or raided. What a reason, I guess, if not the right person gets bribed. So that's kind of weird as well. This is some interesting stuff about how, again, there's like this gray area. Same thing with pachinko, how it's, technically it's gambling, but they get around the law because the machine doesn't pay out the money, or you don't get the money in the pachinko hall, but you just take the stuff you do get, the prizes, to the next door, and the next door will buy those prizes for cash money. So there you go. That's how they get around it. So.
バッチリよ。私も本当に練習やつなんかバカだよね。こっちなんか全然ちょろいのに。
ちょろいです。Let's do okay. 無理する。No.
シカゴはなんかね、寸前になってビビっちゃって。ちょっと嘘でしょ。
She got nervous, right? Yeah, become shy. ビビっちゃって。
みやび、ちょっと嘘でしょ。みやび、私やっぱ乗らないしか忘れたわけ。
乗らない。
私たち何をする誓い忘れたわけ。私たち何をする時も一緒だって誓ったよね。
だから言ったろ、初体験なんて早く済ましてもらえって。
バカなお前、最初どうしても俺は風俗が嫌なの。
だから言ったろ、初体験なんて早く済ましてもらえって。
バカなお前。
だから言ったろ、初体験なんて早く。
So he's not saying shotaiken. Let's see if what is he saying? There we go. Hatsutaiken. Let's see. Yeah. Hatsutai. So hatsutaiken. So it's not hatsutaiken. So hatsutaiken. Okay. That's where we're also seeing, because it sounds like hatsutai. This is where knowing about pitch accent helps a little bit when you're trying to make out what they're saying.
だから言ったろ、初体験なんて早く済ましてまえって。
バカなお前、最初どうしても俺は風俗が嫌なの。帰ろう。
That's the bath, right? Fuzoku. No, no, no. That's vulgar. That's being vulgar. Fuzoku wa. Customs, manners, morals. Okay, Fuzoku. Manners and customs. Okay. All right, Fuzoku. Fuzoku.
バカ野郎、テレクラは風俗じゃねえよ。
テレクラ。テレクラ。What is that? Oh, telephone club. Okay. Wow, that is old.
バカなお前、最初。
So what they have now, like if you go in the red light areas, I think around, was it near Shinjuku or Shibuya? Whatever, the one, what is it? Kabukicho. Kabukicho. And that's basically the big red light area in Tokyo, or any of these others. You see them all over the place. Usually, like a certain area, like near, let's see, like in Yokohama, where the fuck was it at? It was like near north of, near Hinadecho. There we go. But again, it's like, I guess, instead of being a telephone, now it's like an internet. So you go there and like, I guess it's like an internet search. But the building is there, and I guess you got a person there at the desk to help you find the person on the internet. That's how it's set up now. As opposed to, I guess this was 20 years ago, obviously prior to the internet becoming more popular. You did it by telephone. So I guess that's what this is. Again, I'm guessing here. Terakura. So it's probably, but again, I'm guessing it's like, you know, when you ever go to any of the like strip clubs or whatnot, where the picture you see is probably not the representative of what you're actually going to get when, you know, when the person comes to your door, or however the hell this is set up. I think though, this is where also they also arrange with again, a love hotel or some type of hotel to, again, arrange the meeting. And it could be any type. So it could be for the, you know, flat out prostitution, or it could also be what's called daddy health, where basically no sex is involved, or no penetrative sex. But I mean, it's basically everything up to that point. So I mean, it might as well call. I mean, it's still. I'll put it this way: a president got impeached for that, and there was technically no sex involved. But yeah, that was a sexual act, and he got impeached because he was saying like, "Oh, I do not have." Never mind. Let's go. Again, just kind of funny how everything kind of you can stray off on subjects with this, but yeah, it's interesting because in Japan it's a bit basically prostitution, kind of basically out in the open, but not streetwalker prostitution like you would see. I could be wrong because like you see it in this video, it's like it seems like it's that way, like, but usually it's like, you know, do it by phone, meet up, and let me think. No, I take that back because in Yokosuka. Not now, but it was like 10 years ago. Like you'd have like essentially the massage. No, that's still even now, but not as bad. Sometimes it get bad, sometimes not. But we're basically have the ladies who are trying to invite you to get a massage, which then is probably lead into either to more than that. Again, I said it was going to be I didn't say dark as in like violent, but this is dark as, man, usually, you know, shows aren't talking about, you know, prostitution. Now again, this is like not teenage prostitution, what I was talking about, but that's what the subject here is. But all the stuff there you're hearing, like Kabukicho or these other red light areas of all the cities, is again of, you know, hopefully consenting adults. God, I hope. But there is also a problem of, you know, you're dealing with Yakuza, and it could be, hey, some of these are coming from Taiwan or China or Thailand, and they're basically flown in to, you know, fulfill a service. So that's, again, human trafficking, so that could happen as well. So again, that's a problem when you, I don't know if it's as problem in Japan. I'm assuming it is, because yeah, in fact, I'm pretty sure it is. But most of it could be voluntary, as in, hey, there's a lot of money to be made in Japan, so people voluntarily come here, as opposed to being shipped here and kind of forced to stay where, you know, again, the passport's taken, they're basically locked in a room and not allowed to leave. That's the human trafficking, as opposed to essentially people are just trying to get money because, you know, there are guys in Japan willing to pay money for sex.
どうしても俺は
だから私たち何をする時も一緒だって
だから言ったろ
Okay, where are we at?
初体験なんて早く済ましてもらえって
だからお前最初どうしても俺は風俗が嫌なの。帰ろう。
バカ野郎テレクラは風俗じゃねえよ自由恋愛だよ自由恋愛たくそんな
Free love? Yeah. 自由恋愛。自由恋愛。
たくそんなこともわかんねえからダメなんだよおめえは自由恋愛だよ自由恋愛たくそんなこともわかんねえからダメなんだよおめえは僕？いや一応レコード会社のディレクターやってんだもう小室とかファミリーよもう
小室I guess so. Maybe nipples. I don't know.
何やってんのもう小室とかファミリーよもう何やってんの早く聞けよそれ見てちゃんとやるよなもしもしごめん
最近の本当におまわりは分かんねえや。
おまわり Oh, yeah, sorry. That's right.
もしもし。
もしもし私現役女子高生です。
What was it? Geneki, right? Geneki.
もし
もしもし私現役女子高生です。そっちは何してる人ですか？
俺はほら一応ドラマ関係の脚本を。
脚本演劇 Okay, drama? Play, okay. 基本ドラマ関係の基本
俺はほら一応ドラマ関係の脚本をね。
嘘！何書いてる人ですか？
だからほらロンバケとか。
ロンバケロンバケ
ラブジェネとか。
ラブジェネラブジェネ
私両方とも超好きなの。
あ、そう。
Ron Bucket. I don't know who this is. I assume it's an actor. Ron Bucket. Ron Bucket. Love Generation. Love it.
何嘘ついてんだよ
でもあれって両方とも女じゃなかったっけ脚本家。
俺。いやだからほらあれペンネームっていうかそうペンネーム。
じゃあ有名人とも会うんだ。
まあ一応仕事だからね。
すっごい。ねえどんな人知ってんの？
いやだからじゃあほらいっそのこと俺たちも会うか。
お金くれる？
あ？
お金くれるんだったら会ってもいいかな。
いくら？おおこっちだこっちだ。
10万は高くねえかちょっと。
10万 Jesus Christ. $1,000.
いいから早く貸せよお前。
ちゃんと返せよ。
$1,000 20 years ago also.
俺だって苦しいんだからよ。
分かった。じゃあな。
おいちょっと聞いてんのかよ。
Yeah, I know. He noticed it was her by the voice.
What?
なるほどこれが援助構成ってやつか。
There we go. That's the title. So Enko, but Injo Kosei. Injo Kosei. And mainly for a teenage. Yeah, there it's school girl. So there's the Injo again. 援助交際。援助交際。
何よそっちだ。
なるほど、これが援助交際ってやつか。
何よそっちだって。結構のくせにテレクラなんか言っちゃってさ、そっちのことどうこういう資格あるわけ。大体怨恨のどこが悪いのよ。相手の親父も喜ぶし、私たちにもお金が入るし。
Okay, no, wait. There's legit right there, except for age. That's the problem. And good. Let's hear that again.
大体怨恨のどこが悪いのよ。相手の親父も喜ぶし、私たちにもお金が入るし、誰も困んないじゃん。
そうだな、お前の言う通りだ。
All right, where are we at? I tell you what, we're almost at the halfway mark anyway, so I'm going to stop it there. Since we're in the hotel room there. And I don't know exactly how long this is going to go, so it's just, yeah, so this is going to go a little longer. Okay, so let's stop it there. Go to the image. All righty. I was probably saying way too much, and yeah. It is funny because like, if you watch a show like Tiger and Dragon, you got some things, but mainly it was like Ikebukuro Westgate Park. When I watched that show, I was like asking, like, "Hey, what is all this about?" That's where you can find. That's where I found out a lot about this information, especially like Kabukicho. Kabukicho, actually, I didn't know about, except there was a manga series called 20th Century Boys, and part of the setting was in Kabukicho. It's like, wow, this is supposed to be going to do a dark place or something, but no, it was a dark place. Even after when it got into the future part, so it's like, oh, okay. So that's when I found out, like, oh yeah, it was set up to be something like an entertainment district and became a red light district. So it kind of like, I from my understanding, when it was named Kabukicho, because you hear Kabukicho, it's like, oh, it must be some high place, class place. No, it's you go there, you're just going to be assaulted by guys trying to get you into their establishment to separate you from their money, you from your money. That's the idea there. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good series, by the way, and I can't do a let's read on it, but yeah. Ikebukuro Westgate Park, that was a damn good show. Tiger and Dragon's also good. About the delivery health, I learned about that because of the other series called both Ikebukuro Westgate Park and also the Kizaratsu Katsai. So it's kind of funny, like the guy who was writing these stories, like is really good about talking about the underbelly, the part that they don't show normally on TV, or they don't say that, hey, look, this is normal people trying to make a normal living in the type of jobs that unfortunately the only ones they seem to be allowed to do, because they're not allowed to get normal higher paying jobs. They're more stable type, so they got to go to basically the sex industry and all the negatives aspects that applies to you. But he tries to show that these are still good, decent people that just have to do a job that other people have no problem going there as customers, secretly partaking, but publicly they demean it. Like the jerk ass head teacher there, and whatnot. He is the scummiest teacher of the group. And they're all scummy. There's some scummy teachers in there, but he's like, seems to be, well, okay. Obviously, the date rapist, he takes it to another level. But yeah, but what she's saying is, like, she's thinking it's the money, but she's wanting to, but is it something she wants to do? That's the other problem. It's more than just money. It's also money for an action. And if you're not enjoying the action, then there's that. Then you look at Firefly, where you have the prostitution there, where it's much like they're high class. Like, and they choose their clients. It's not like the clients hope that they get chosen. It's one of those, like, so the supply and demand is flipped in that series, and that's also been the case, throughout history. Depending on it depends on because of the power dynamic. You might have men in power who don't like the idea of women being in power, so therefore they oppress that any type of business that allows like that gives essentially women as an ability to have control. Maybe I'm overthinking it there, but anyway, what she said was, and I guess it's going to go into it in the next video, since I'm doing the second half, that part of that's going to be discussed. But yeah, that's like, remember that there's more to it than the money. There is that than the job you have to perform, and that's going to be. And obviously, she's not doing a job. She's just she's obviously robbing customers. That's all that is. So that's nothing. There's nothing fancy about that. Nothing good about that. And again, that brings into its own danger, because again, if this was like supposed to be a legal exchange, they could call the police. She gets arrested, and that will happen. I believe that. I think I've heard stories about that where someone refuses to pay. Well, since it's not having because it's not the stigma as opposed, or the illegal stigma as it would have in the States, these ladies who are like making it, they were in private customer, they had their own private exchange between two adults. Well, yeah, so if some guy stole money that was owed to the lady, or vice versa, cops can be called, because it's not going to be put up with. My understanding. Yeah, and I kind of think that because when I was doing the Let's Read the News, you always remember, if you saw me doing those videos, it was like, damn, this shit got dark. Some of that stuff gets dark. And probably I need to start doing those again on Mondays. Like maybe just as a special video on Monday, just do a Let's Read the News in Japanese. Kind of catch up on the week's what's happened, and then leading into what's expected into the week as what's happening. Basically, get stories of what happened over the weekend, and then go from there. I think that would be kind of interesting to start back up. But anyway, I'll think about it. But yeah, I'm talking too much. It's already like an hour and 10 minutes. I started 10 minutes late. Just talking about. It's a good video talk. I'll just say this: it's a sign of a good show where I can then talk about it, and I don't feel like, oh my god, I hate this show. I feel like after every Evangelion episode, I was like, oh god, what a waste of time. I was kind of feeling that sometimes. Now and again, Steins Gate wasn't as bad, but same with. I wasn't feeling it too much with Death Note, especially when the female character got introduced. It just, I don't know. I forgot her name. Was it Lisa? Whatever. It doesn't matter there. But yeah, I'm enjoying these videos, so that's good. Shinya Shokudo is again kind of because it's set in Shinjuku or Shibuya. I think Shibuya. I think it's Shibuya. Shibuya and Kabukicho area. Again, it'll have some of these kind of more darker stories. Not darker as in, sad, but just, again, it's just people who have to do jobs that may not be the brightest, may not be the things, brag about at high school reunions. Who knows? Yeah, I think that's about it. Not too much to talk about. But yeah, the girl, by the way, I know it's like over the last few videos I've done where Miyabi, how am I forgetting her name? I think it's Miyabi. I was saying, like, it's going to take a lot to forgive her, because again, not only she bullied someone to, where again they jumped, and then she continued the bullying after she knew what had happened. Like, no remorse on that. Like, doubled down. That meant horrible character. And you can see part of it was the school had corrupted her. Like, there was hints of she being a good person. You saw that with Tomoko when she was talking about her friendship with Miyabi. I think it's Miyabi-chan. When you see that, so maybe she has some redemption. Like, when you take someone who's a kid who is then basically corrupted, you kind of, if she can come back from that, then that's redemption. But it doesn't mean, like, if she doesn't come back, if she doesn't redeem, then no. It doesn't mean you can't forgive them for being the way they are. You can say, okay, look, we know what you are, but you've got to come back from that. You can't continue staying this way. You don't see, and from what I remember, I didn't see it with the teachers. Yeah, they supposedly turn around when the situation turned south, then they act all like, oh yeah, we just care about school. Bullshit. I didn't buy it. But the students, you can kind of buy that. Yeah, they do come around. They know they were doing something wrong. Now they feel bad about it and they want to be better. That's what you want to see. That's a redemption. Not oh, you found out, oh yeah, this guy, when he was a kid, his dad, burned his pet or whatever. Okay, guy was raised by a monster and became a monster. But he's to a point where now he can't come back. He's actually done something that's completely unforgivable. It's kind of like with her, not her, also this girl's included as well, since she was part of the 3 girls that were doing the bullying. But maybe even she's realizing, like, why are we like this? Why are we doing like this? When she comes to face of adults being like that, what you're doing now, do you really want to become that? You don't like it when you see it in another person. Do you really want it to be yourself, to be that same way? Okay, that, again, redemption. That makes sense. So I can see that happening with Miyabi, if I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. All right, I'm going to call that it. I'm going to probably start the next video, and yeah, I'll just start up the next video after this. So anyway, this has been Let's Read Japanese, GTO, episode 7, part 1. We'll be back with 7, part 2 the next day. I'll tell you what, let me write it down now. What is the time? What was it? 22:10? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Okay. Okay, so GTO 7.1, 22 minutes, 10 seconds. Cool. And yeah. Yeah, so this will be on June the 18th. Will be made public, and then the next one, part 2, will be on June the 19th. All right, cool. If all goes well. All right, thank you all very much. You've been anyway, sorry. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the series, what I'm doing, you'd like to see more, you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, do more like this. This has been a part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. If you'd like to support that, there's links to the Patreon down below for you to become a patron. In addition to links to the Let's Learn Japanese website, which Dr. Dave put together, and the Let's Learn Japanese community Discord. Also, if you'd like to commission an hour of my time, then that can be done with there's a direct link to that via the Patreon for, it could be for tutoring, counseling, technical assistance, advice, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, that's about it. I'll be back with episode 7.2, and yeah, this is fun. Let's keep this going. All right, later, guys.